Going back in history, it was pre-1930s before you find a time when the subject of hip dysplasia was not mentioned in any form. Those were the times when people went to the butcher shop and the corner market and got some meat scraps and fed what was left at the dinner table from the 3 meals a day to their dog. The matriarch of the family collected the leftovers at the end of each meal. The Depression and ensuing years brought about the change of the industry due to a sort of mini-industrial revolution, and that change of the products brought about a marked mutation in dogs over the next 80 years. There evolved an industry that processed high carbohydrate grains like corn into pet foods and produced an intended consequence of making cheaper, more easily accessible pet foods, but also an unintended consequence of pet food that was of much lower quality and changed some of the structure of dogs maybe forever. The unfortunate byproduct of using high carbohydrate corn, which has 2,200 carbohydrate calories per pound, and building a non-meat ration that resulted in a weakening of the femur and the acetabulum, which is the 3 bones that intricately fit together to form the cup for the end of the femur to fit into. This brought about the emergence of CHD, or canine hip dysplasia. Now, when the malady arose, a lot of veterinarians and researchers tried to show that this was a genetic consequence. From the 1930s until the 1960s, the breed associations in the United States and Europe tried their best to use genetic selection to alleviate the problem. To no avail. They found CHD problems in 70 to 75% of large breed dogs, and after those 3 decades of work, they felt all the work had reduced the incidence of CHD by almost 5%. Not much to hang your hat on. It was in the 60s that 2 men, one a veterinarian and one a scientific journalist, began to explore nutrition as a major cause of CHD. It was amazing the controversy that resulted from their findings, which many years ago led to lawsuits and even some criminal complaints. But the facts are the facts. These 2 researchers found the use of these high carbohydrate grains, especially corn, resulted in muscle and skeletal weaknesses that led to the softening of the tissue and the weakening of the joints. And now with some larger breeds, 3/4 of all those dogs have joint and walking problems. But let's talk about the genetics of the problem. In all these years, hundreds of vets and breeders kept records and scored the physical traits of dogs for sturdiness, condition, impact endurance, young animal growth, and many more traits. Between 50 and 60 years of that work produced virtually no success, and the use of radiography, selective culling, and the attempted matching of traits of sturdiness had not changed the incidence of hip and elbow dysplasia at all. There is one principal aspect in the scientific method that was completely overlooked and not considered relevant. Since there was no hip dysplasia pre-1930, does it seem at all plausible that all of a sudden certain canine genes suddenly mutated in multiple breeds of dogs that had completely different family trees, and all those mutations resulted in bone and joint problems? They should have asked themselves, what changed? Yes, indeed, what changed? The dogs didn't change, but the industry did. This has been an introduction into what is still considered a controversial and unsettled disagreement on a problem that causes great concerns and costs the pet owners of today millions of dollars. Build a Better Dog has brought this program to you with the help of a lot of research and the help of naturalcanines.com, from which a lot of this information was taken. We will soon be releasing part 2 of this video, which will delve deeper into the problem and offer some alternatives and some cures. No matter how you viewed this program, check back again shortly and you will be able to see the second part of this program that seeks to ease and correct some of the problems facing the pet ownership industry. Thank you. This is Jerry Perdue, President of Build a Better Dog and the developer of Triad Performance Supplement.